Hey everybody, this is Robert back with another video. This time, I'm going to start with the guitar basics for keyboard players. Okay, so if you play keyboard, you know that each chord is a triad of notes that you hit either at the same time or broken up. For example, the C chord is C, E, G. However, what if I said this? Capo 3, D. What is that? What is that? What is capo? This is guitar lingo. And I will show you in the next section. What if I said Capo 4 G? What key is that? So, this is something to help you transpose almost on the fly. First off, for any song that you play on the keyboard, you gotta know what key you're playing it in. And if you have other instruments like guitar or drums, you're gonna need to know just the basics on how to at least recognize capo and chord and some fingerings, which I will get to you. I will get to that. Also, you're going to have to understand timing, which the drums can actually help you with. So, shall we move to the next section? By the way, the answers to those two questions, those two capo questions are for Capo 3. Yeah, Capo 3D is basically 3 half steps above the regular D, and that is the key of F. So you got D, D sharp, E, F. Sometimes F is also called E sharp. On a keyboard or a piano. The other question is, so what is Capo 4G? So you have G, the regular G chord, which I'll show you, is one of the essentials, and you put the key up. You transpose up 4 frets, or 4 half steps. So each fret is actually 1 half step. And if you put a capo on a certain fret, that means you got to transpose that many half steps above the original open chord. So Capo 4G ends up becoming 4 half steps above G, which is the key of B, major. So you have B, so as the root, E is the 4 chord, and F sharp is the 5 chord. And the G sharp minor chord is the 6 minor chord. Let's go to the next section. So, we have guitar basics for keyboard and piano players. So, I'm filming with my guitar here. The only guitar that I have is a harmony guitar. It's an old guitar which needs a little bit of help. That's why these paper things are there to help with the buzzing on the neck. And this is a capo. We will learn about that. First off, I do want to talk about the difference between a guitar and a piano is a piano, you have keys that you play. But on a guitar, there are only 6 strings. So, in order, they go from the 6th string here, and then all the way down to the 1st string. So the notes, the string names, have in standard tuning, and they're all open. So open strings. So we have E, low E, A is the next one, the next one's D, and then G, the second one is B, well the second to the last string is B, and then finally at the end the highest string is E, high E. So in order they go from the highest to lowest. So you start, the first string is high E, B is the next string, G, D, then the second to the last string is A, and low E is the last string, string 6. Now, as you can see, this guitar is very long, a big instrument, and these little things, which are also on the ukulele, are called frets. And each fret, each section here of the fret of the board is 1/2 step. So when we get to the capo part of this tutorial, you're gonna learn. Basically, a capo just bars the whole fret, the whole section of the board. And this board here is where the guitar players will actually form the hand shapes. Now, it's important for a piano player to recognize basic guitar fingerings. So here I'm going to show you how to do that. So first off, let's get this little paper out of the way. So first, this fingering, which is middle finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and then the ring fingers on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and the index finger is on the 3rd string, 1st fret. This is the E chord, E major chord. So this is basically E. So that would be the E shape after you factor in the fret, not the fret, but the capo. So then we have this, which which is a variation called the E minor. So it's basically the same as E major, except you take off the index finger. Then we go to another one called A minor, which is the same as E major, except you shift it. You shift all three fingers down, or not down this way, but to the second string, the third, and the fourth strings. So you have the index finger on the second string, first fret, and then the middle finger is on the fourth string, second fret, as well as, and then naturally the ring finger will be on the third string, second fret. This is A minor. A major is another chord, and it's basically the same, except you take off the index finger and put in. You either put the index finger on where the middle finger used to be. You just shift these two over this way, or most guitar players will do it this way to form an A2 chord to kind of give some flair to a song. And that is the index finger on the fourth string, second fret, and the middle fingers on the third string, second fret. You can almost semi-bar that if you want. So we'll talk about bar chords too. Okay, so the next one is a D major chord, which if you've played ukulele for any length of time, you'll know that this is the exact same finger shape as the G chord on the ukulele, but on the guitar it is D chord. And you only play the last four, the top four strings. Sometimes I actually play the top 5 strings to have it a little bit fuller sound. This is the D chord. And this, as a variation, is D suspended. So it's the same as the D chord, except you include the pinky on the first string, third fret. So that is that. If you got confused, just pause the video and rewind it to where you messed up, or not you messed up, but to where you got confused. Okay. Okay, this chord basically is the C chord and C shape. So you have the ring finger on the second string, first fret, the middle finger on the fourth string, second fret, and the ring finger on the fifth string, third fret. So in this case you skip one string because that string is G, named G. So, and G is a part of the C chord. So I'm sure you understand that perfectly if you're a piano player. So this is the C chord on the guitar. And another way to do a C chord is this. You have four fingers on. You have 3 fingers on the third fret, which is the fifth string, the second and the first strings, and then the fourth string will have the index finger on the second fret. And and this kind of is also a C chord, but a C2 chord, which is very easy to transition from C to the G chord, which is what we're going to talk about now. The G chord. It's what I said earlier, except that the middle finger is on the 3rd fret, 6th string. The index finger is on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the other two are interchangeable, but the same. And that is the G. Okay, so those are most of the basic ones. There's one more, and it's called a power chord, even though you can actually bar it as well. It's the B chord, which is basically the index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, and the other two are on the 3rd and 4th strings, 4th fret. That's the B shape, which you may also need to know. And typically, you would have the chord progressions. Typically, not always, would have 1st, 4th, and 5th. Sometimes 1st, 4th, 6 minor, and 5 chords. Not always. Some more sadder songs would be 6 minor, 4th, 1st, and 5th. So a variation of the E minor chord is the E minor 7th chord, which is basically the E minor chord, as I told you previously, and 2 fingers, the pinky and the ring finger, on the 1st and 2nd strings and the 3rd fret. So it would sound like this. And that's the E minor 7th shape. Okay. So let's talk about the capo. Okay. This is an example of a guitar capo. And what the capo does is it changes the key of any song. So you can have capo typically on the 2nd fret. And this one's easy to put in there. And all of a sudden you're playing in the key of A. We can do it this way. That's the piano A chord, but you see the capo changes the key up. Always up. The capo always brings the key up. In this case, it brings the key up 2 half steps or a full step. So sometimes you'll have it on this fret here, which is a capo 3, 3rd fret, and that brings the key up 3 half steps. So the way to kind of do it, to transpose it, is just what's the non-capo chord to start out, and then you bring it up however many half steps that the capo is whatever fret the capo is on. So you're going to need to pay attention to the guitar player. So this is in the key of B flat, but I have a G shape on there. Now B flat is very hard to play on the guitar, but if you know the B flat scale on the piano, it's a walk in the park. So here's how most guitar players would play it: capo on the 3rd fret and the G shape. So, and of course you can go down the fretboard, and this is 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when we get to the 12th fret, that's a full octave above the open. So you may be able to see these dots here. It's on the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th, 15th, and 17th frets. And most ukuleles will also have markings similar to this. Some of them may have like triangle shape, or circle shape, or diamond shape, or some other weird shape. And there's also, on the side here, is also where those markings are. So don't be surprised if someone puts a capo on the 5th fret and plays the same chord. So here is how I would, find out the key, or find out at least the first chord of any song, whether it be a worship song or a secular song, anything like that. So first off, I find out what capo the fret is on, whether it be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Some people may have a capo on the 6th fret, and capo is basically a more permanent bar, so that your hands will be freed up to do other chords. So it's kind of a semi-permanent bar. Now a barred chord, all you do is have your index finger covering every string, or sometimes a semi-bar will be at least 2 strings of a fret. So that's the barred version of the G chord, by the way. And it's a temporary capo. So now that we've discussed what the capo does and about how the capo is used, so my personal note, what I personally would kind of write down on a piece of paper of sheet music or chord chart, I would say, if I see this, then I know that the capo is on the 2nd fret. So to transpose whatever I see on the sheet music or the chord chart up 2 half steps. For example, this is A, so that'll be the A chord that I'll play on the piano. And this would be D on the piano. This will be E on the piano. So I would call this capo to G, or if it's in this shape, I'll say capo to D. Okay, so this will be, for example, this is capo 1 G, and this would be the key of A flat on the keyboard / piano. And by the way, this is the original key of the famous song Linus and Lucy by Vince Guaraldi. So you would do this on the guitar. So now, let's say that you have something in a piano key and you're a guitar player. You want to transpose. Let's first transpose from the guitar key to the piano key. So, a little exercise for you. What chord is this? What chord do you have to play on the piano? I'll give you a minute to think about. Alright. After you had a moment to think about it, the correct answer is capo 3 D, or on the piano you'll play F. Now on the guitar, F is normally barred right there. So when I put a capo on the 3rd fret, it's the same chord. And one more. What chord is this? I'll give you a minute. So this is, okay, after you've had a minute to think about it, if you need to pause the video, pause the video. And so this is capo 4 G. So that turns out to be B major. Okay. So basically you would have a capo on the 4th fret. That would be transposing a G chord to the B chord by moving that up 4 half steps. Or you can even think about it as a major 3rd if you're into intervals. So this is open G, or a non-capo G, sorry about that. This is capo 4 G, which is the key of B. Okay, I'm about to run out of time, so if this is helpful for you, comment down below. And of course, going from the piano key to the guitar key, sometimes you would need to go down a few half steps, but if it's already capo 0, if it's already like a good key for the guitar, like G, E, A, and possibly even C or D, then it's best that you just keep it the way it is. It'll be capo 0. That means no capo. If you have any questions, comment down below. I hope this tutorial is helpful for you, and contact me if you need any additional help. And I will talk to you soon in the next video. Take care. Bye!